calculate witchcraft and sorcery. Oh, and if the said convenience could make a big difference, then you can trust me. I know just where you should be. That is JP Mega, 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 Mega. The one-stop shopping, Dominica, nigga, 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 nigga. You could be shopping and having fun with your daughter or with your son. We cater to everyone. What a happy place, happy place. Oh, JP Mega, 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 Mega. The one-stop shopping, Dominica, nigga, 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 nigga. You could be shopping and having fun. Bring Papa and Mama along. We cater to everyone. What a happy place, happy place. Oh, what a happy place. But just stick some more any item and you automatically qualify for a discount. Check us out at the Mega Store in Funkole where there's lots of parking on Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. JP Mega, the best family shopping experience.
Introducing Jolly's Pharmacy, brand new website www.jollies.gm. It's your time to jump the line. Shop now at jollies.gm and have your items delivered in the comfort of your office. No more standing in line. No need to use your lunch hour to shop. Hassle-free shopping, safe and secure. Jollies.gm features rush delivery, 1 hour. In-store pickup, regular delivery, 5 p.m. Cut-off time, 4 p.m. It's your time to jump the line. Visit us at www.jollies.gm. Jollies Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Who say health cannot have vibes? Well, Jolly's Pharmacy is proving you otherwise. With Health Vibes, every Wednesday morning on Q95 from 10 a.m. to 11:30. Health Vibes, education, information, and a bit of humor. And not forgetting lots of vibes. Hosted by Carlton Lango, with co-hosts Jacinta Fagan Defoe and Trudy Kristen. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together every Wednesday, so be sure to tune in. Health Vibes every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 a.m. to 11:30. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Introducing Jolly's Pharmacy, brand new website www.jollies.gm. It's your time to jump the line. Shop now at jollies.gm and have your items delivered in the comfort of your office. No more standing in line. No need to use your lunch hour to shop. Hassle-free shopping, safe and secure. Jollies.gm features rush delivery, 1 hour. In-store pickup, regular delivery, 5 p.m. Cut-off time, 4 p.m. It's your time to jump the line. Visit us at www.jollies.gm. Jollies Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Who say health cannot have vibes? Well, Jolly's Pharmacy is proving you otherwise. With Health Vibes, every Wednesday morning on Q95 from 10 a.m. to 11:30. Health Vibes, education, information, and a bit of humor. And not forgetting lots of vibes. Hosted by Carlton Lango, with co-hosts Jacinta Fagan Defoe and Trudy Kristen. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together every Wednesday, so be sure to tune in. Health Vibes every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 a.m. to 11:30. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Introducing Jolly's Pharmacy, brand new website www.jollies.gm. It's your time to jump the line. Shop now at jollies.gm and have your items delivered in the comfort of your office. No more standing in line. No need to use your lunch hour to shop. Hassle-free shopping, safe and secure. Jollies.gm features rush delivery, 1 hour. In-store pickup, regular delivery, 5 p.m. Cut-off time, 4 p.m. It's your time to jump the line. Visit us at www.jollies.gm. Jollies Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Good morning to you. It is just about 25 minutes after the hour of 10. And we're so happy that you've joined us for yet another episode of Health Vibes. And it is the Easter version. I know most of us, it's Holy Week, those who are Catholic. But even if you're not a Catholic, a lot of people tend to sort of have that consciousness, that quiet disposition during that week, the week of Easter. And so even for me, it is usually a quiet week. I would sort of, get in a very reflective mood. And so if you are in that mood, good morning to you. It is a beautiful day on the outside here in Dominica. They would say we have in Kawem weather. I think if you have a tree in your yard, I can imagine you have to be sweeping all the time because all the trees are shedding their leaves now. And guess what? Many of the fruit trees are getting prepared to give us the abundance of fruits during the summer period. My favorite fruit remains mango, particularly mango long. That's my favorite mango. I will give up my best meal for some good, mango long. I don't know
Mango
about
long.
Trudy, but that's my fruit. I love that. I love watermelon as well, and a good sweet pineapple. Yes.
Sweet fruits.
Yes.
Carlton, good morning to you. Good morning to our listeners of Health Vibes. Yeah, Carlton, the weather looks spectacular today. I
Yes.
saw there was rain in the forecast, but when I looked outside this morning, clear blue skies,
Mhm.
really looks like a day to just be somewhere on the beach, maybe.
Or river,
Yes,
the nice basin with the sun hitting on the basin.
yes, relaxing somewhere. But unfortunately, some of us are at work. The students, though, today is the last day for most of our school going students, our high schoolers, our primary schoolers. I see a lot of them on the streets of Roseau this morning because their last assembly must have just concluded and they've gotten their report cards and they're on the road. It's Easter break beginning today. So, for the teachers who have been waiting for that break, I just want to, share your joy today because I know it's been a long term for some of you, and you just looking forward to that Easter break. The lecturers at the Dominica State College are already on break. It's our mid-semester break, and our students as well. So for everybody enjoying a vacation period, or beginning their vacation period, good morning to you, and I hope you make the best of this time.
Definitely, I know I have to. When I leave the show, I'm going to pick up my son's report card at SMA, and it's for me as a parent. It's always very rewarding to go to the school and pick up a report card, knowing that it is what you expect. Excellent grades, good comments from the teachers, and that's what we as parents we look forward to. It gives you that gratification, that satisfaction that you are willing to pour more into your children because you're seeing that they are endeavoring to be better and greater than who you are. And this one I was saying that to my son, that at the end of the day, you have to exceed me, and then your children have to exceed you. That's what the generation supposed to be. Things that you didn't, maybe your parents never got the opportunity to achieve. You supposed to achieve that. Whether you are in a trade or you are in academia, you have to try your best to exceed and do well. You know that at least your parents will feel that, wow, my hard work wasn't in vain. Whatever you've done, whether you're a fisherman, you aspire to own the biggest ship, the biggest boat that you can go out there and spend weeks on the sea. And if you have all your storage and you can be, selling fish to other countries and that type of thing. So don't just limit yourself because you are in a blue collar job or profession, but if you're a plumber, be and aspire to be the best professional plumber that you are. If you're an electrician, you are a gardener, you into cleaning yard and how you call it, swiping and doing the hedges. One day, just woo your clients and maybe make something spectacular with the hedge, and they're like, "Wow, I didn't see that," and then your work will speak for itself. And so we want to encourage you. I have always, and I've said it many times, that I always, big up and identify and recognize the work of the NEP workers, particularly those on the streets,
The
those on the
streets.
roadside. They really make Dominica look beautiful, and I don't take your work for granted, and assume that you just another outcast, so to speak. But you are making a difference in our communities, in our country,
Of
and so
course.
we recognize the work that you do.
Of course, it takes everyone to make the whole society function.
Of
You
course.
cannot function without one aspect of the whole body. Everybody has a role to play, and they have to play that role well. Carlton, you mentioned picking up the report card of your son, and you mentioned he goes to the SMA. I just wanted to that triggered a thought in me that in the intersecondary schools debating competition, which Jollies has come on board as a sponsor for, as they should, and Jollies always supports these worthwhile academic endeavors, school-based endeavors. But in the intersecondary schools debating competition, we had the semifinals on Monday, and the St. Mary's Academy made it to the
Yeah, I
finals.
listened to that.
Yes,
Yeah,
the St.
I missed the
Mary's.
surrender.
Yes, Noah
Yes,
Sorrento and Jelani
yes,
Shillingford representing
yes,
SMA. They made it
yes.
to the finals. And the Orion Academy, Diamond Daniel and Ejadi Maxwell, they also made it to the finals. And Carlton, you mentioned, the whole aspect of, parents and wanting to see your children exceed you. I really just want to commend the parents. This is a topic I always like to stick on. The parents who show up and support their children. It really warms my heart to see parents come to these debates and sit there and watch their children, their son, their daughter,
Yes.
and regardless if it's a win or if it's a runner-up position,
Yes.
the fact that the parents are there to support, it makes a world of difference
Yes.
to the students. You're there and you see your father, your mother, or your guardian, in that audience just cheering you on, and that is all it takes sometimes to make a difference in performance. I just want to encourage parents who may be listening. I know oftentimes people are pressed for time and people are
Yeah.
busy and people are hustling to make ends meet, but being there for your children, being supportive, it's transformative. That is what makes the difference in lives, I can tell you. So in that debate competition, I'm seeing the parents turning out, and it's a wonderful
That
thing.
was a very good topic. I can't remember it exactly, but it was something to do with mass migration of young
Brain
people.
drain, yes,
Right.
brain
I
drain.
was very glued to that.
Yes,
Really,
yes.
really glued to that.
Very
and I
current.
could see that they really did their research.
Yes.
They would clips from the news and the
Mhm.
newspaper and statistics and surveys done. And I was like, wow, this is great. This is awesome. This is really, really awesome.
Yeah.
But one of the things too that I always encourage parents to do is to reward your children. You don't necessarily, you've gone to the school, you've picked up their report card, you've seen them made an improvement or continue to remain consistent with the grades. You give them a token, and sometimes it doesn't take much. You could just maybe, your daughter likes shower gels and maybe like lotions and stuff. You just pick up something and you tell her, this is for doing, continuing to do excellent at school.
Mhm.
And, you reward them and you speak to them and you speak into their lives and you let them know, I truly appreciate the effort that you're making, the consciousness of taking time to study and to behave in school and to be a role model to your peers. You speak into their lives. A lot of the times we criticize a lot. Oh, why are you failing mathematics?
Right.
Or why are you not doing well in English? But then are we, making the
positive
difference? Are we
reinforcement.
speaking right?
Mhm.
Well, okay, what's the matter with English? What are you not understanding? Okay, maybe let me try to see if we can get a tutor to assist you because it's not my area of expertise. But you come with solutions.
Correct.
You
Yeah.
come with solutions. So we really want to encourage parents as well to reward your children, to speak positive things into their lives, speak good positive affirmations to them, look at them in their eye, and let them know that they can make it. They can make it. Pick up the concepts, apply the concepts, and you will do well. And encourage your children as well to read. read, read. It's important. Read, look at the news, regional news, international news. Begin to engage them in discussions. What are your views on the war that's happening with Russia and Ukraine? Do you really truly believe that CARICOM we've sort of bridged the gap with free movement of people? What are your views on that? What's happening in Haiti? Do you think that CARICOM that we are doing enough to assist Haiti? Do you think that America should invade Haiti and bring some stabilization to what's happening there? So it's a lot of things that we can debate, and you can provoke and begin to see if your children are in the loop as it relates to current information, current matters that are affecting, that are affecting us. So I like the debate. I'm really a big fan of that. Whenever I get the opportunity, I listen, and I'm always impressed with the information that the students bring up.
And Carlton, one last thing on that, as you mentioned, parents having to have conversations with their children sometimes on current events. Maybe there may be some parents saying, "Boy, I'm not even equipped enough to have those kind of discussions." But what you can do as a parent is expose the children to avenues where those discussions are being had. So the debate, for instance, even if your school is not participating or your student is not participating directly, you can come with your student, with your child to the debate to hear. So, bring the children to these sort of things that will have that positive impact on their brain, the working of their brain, trigger them to think. I met a lady in town. She always listens to Health Vibe. She says she loves the show. And she said she wants her grandson to be involved in positive things. So for that reason, she's following the debate on radio and so on, and she's making him listen too. And that is what I think is a good strategy. Encourage the children to listen to positive things, to go to positive events. I know for young people, they want to go to maybe the like a CO, the like a this, but you can encourage
you have
them.
to have balance.
There's a lecture at UE or there's a debate at wherever. You bring them to that or encourage them to go. Give them a like incentive to go too. Sometimes you have to do that. And that is how we can really improve the level of the young minds.
And I really like the aspect too that you were engaging the audience, the young people. What are your views? What are your plans? And most of them sadly said that they would migrate. They plan to migrate at some point. I like that you broaden the discussion, and you give the audience, students in the audience, the opportunity to express themselves and to justify why they would have chosen to stay or to migrate, and if it's something that is going to be permanent or just temporary because they might want to study or want to get some exposure. Well, it was quite interesting.
Carlton, I see people are calling us.
Yes, I see people are calling. Good morning to you. Happy Easter to you. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Lando.
Hi, Mr. Lufa. Good morning to you. How are you doing today?
You know you're always touching my topic.
I know that.
Good morning, Miss Christian.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, Mr. Lando. I'm one of your favorite listeners to Health Vibe.
I know
but I like the turn you took today.
Yes.
Concerning the kids and so on. And one of the things you said, which I believe parents should look at, when they do bad, Mr. Lando, as a teacher, you criticize them. Why you don't compliment them when they do good?
I agree.
Yeah, and I agree with what you just said. Give them a little thing and so on and so on. Even though they like their little tablet, give them a little extra hour. So or we call it motivation. That's what we call it. Even this morning, I was telling the people on DBS, right? Your character depends on your attitude. Your attitude is what counts. You understand what I mean? And I like the trend you take. I know you have your health things to talk about, but sometimes as parents, and I like what you say about parents attending and so on. And it gives the child a more positive attitude toward education. Thank you very much, my brother.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Carlton, and good morning, Trudy.
Hi,
Good morning
hi,
to you, caller.
morning.
Good morning.
Everything blessed?
We're doing well. Judy has been missing you a lot.
Carlton, you're not missing me too.
Well, you know, I always miss your
Why,
wisdom.
why you speaking for Trudy?
No, because Trudy called your name last week on the show.
That's it.
Okay, well, I heard that. Very interesting introduction to that program there. Why Trudy was mentioning like exposing children to this positive educational stuff. Also, I think another balance there in terms of even Mr. Lufa was saying about if you're punishing them, you should also reward them. I'm of that opinion too. But it goes a little further. Even when you're exposing them to all this educational stuff, it's good to even expose them to fun and adventurous things to know that part of them too.
Of course.
Yes, because you have to strike that balance because not all children that will be on that academic level. That's some children that are super talented and with their hands and in other ways. So it's good to learn the fun, adventurous side of that child too. Because with all my children, one thing I used to do was behave like a child, go down to their level and go to the beach with them, go to different events with them. It's not just sending them, going with them because they need supervision also.
I agree.
Yeah, because while you're doing all that, supervision has to be paramount. Yeah, you cannot gamble supervision because they can be easily led astray by just other persons that are there that are not supervised. And remember, they all come from different homes, different backgrounds, different upbringing. I just wanted to interject that.
Very much so. Very much so. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Nice. Bye-bye.
Okay,
All right.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to strike a balance. That's correct. It's just that the fun things may be easier for you to remember to do. So I just wanted to encourage, the things that maybe people think are not as not as fun, but they're also important. So you need to strike a balance, between all sorts of exposure, the good, the sports, the creative things like the arts, the like recently there was the National School Arts Festival. That is a good opportunity for students to view, the singing, the dancing, the creative aspect of life, and then there is of course the public speaking, debating sort of thing. There's so many different positive things that you can engage your young people with.
I like that. We have another caller. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling. Happy
Yeah,
Easter.
that's me again, Carlton.
Yes.
To Trudy, because in the whole educational thing, something I missed a lot that I used to take my daughter to a lot. The literary festival. They still having that.
Literary.
I know they used to have a festival.
Yeah.
For sure. Like an entire week.
At UE, they used to have a literary festival every year.
No, that is the nature. What is it? Nature Island Literary. Yes, you're correct. I haven't heard of that for a while.
This was an annual event that I used to like to go to.
Yes, you're correct.
We used to take my daughter there from inception, and as a matter of fact, that because at home she was a reader, and we used to take her and expose her to even to festivals like that, and she actually went and joined the reading competition when she was of age, when she was going to Convent Prep, and came out highly. And these are things that we're missing a lot out on because when you have events like that, you can also take your children and it is not there anymore. So even these good and great things that are not part of our society anymore. And why is that so? When it is something so good and you find more of the negatives that may popping up and maybe lasting even longer than this great event. And I really miss the literary festival at UE annually.
Yeah, it used to be summertime.
It was something very good. As a matter of fact, there were poets that used to come from Trinidad and other islands and come and entertain in an educational way. And I really, really and truly miss that. Just wanted to interject that also.
That is true. That is
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. What's his name again? Mr. Bully was very much involved in that. Yes, and so, I know there have been a lot of calls for the speedy recovery
of the Arawa Coast of culture. Yeah,
so that some of these things can be housed in a place that would be conducive and comfortable for everybody. Yeah, but I'm liking the discussion. Trudy, one of the things that I want to highlight as well for me, I recently did something very spontaneous, where I just left home and I just drove to a river that I had never been to, all by myself, and I hiked up the river a bit and found the beautiful Basse, so to speak, as we call it. And I said to myself, I need to start doing a bit more outdoor things. I've never been that type of person as such, and to really connect more with nature. So I will be doing my first hike to the Boyden Lake in April. I've already
Ooh.
signed up for it. I'm all excited about it. I think I'm really
Ooh.
now prepared for that hike because I've always heard that it's 3 hours to go, 3 hours to come
Oh
back.
yes.
But being an avid runner for 3 years now, I think I'm fit enough to do that, and I'm really looking forward to that hike. And these are things that I'm really trying to get myself more aligned to. Adventurous outdoor activities, and so I want to use that opportunity to encourage people. There are many, many spots in Dominica that many of us have not visited. Many of us have not even merely paid attention to. And you can do that. Yes, the Mero Beach is quite nice, and many of us go there often. I live in that area. But there is more than the Mero Beach. There are many, many falls that many of us have never been to. I've not even been to the Spani Falls, and
Oh,
it's a shame for
it's
me to say that.
easy.
It's a shame for me to
Yeah,
even
it's
say
not a
that.
difficult
You
one.
know, and so I'm trying to see if I can add more of that to my life. And it's important for us to sit down and just we oftentimes we see it and we look at do I have a house? Do I have this? Do I have that? And we don't factorize these other aspects of life that really gives more meaning to your life because you really do connect. It's a pity I don't have my other phone with me that I can show you photos of that river. But it really does well for your psychosocial health. You see, you appreciate things so differently. You connect with nature in a very, it's almost like you detoxify yourself, and it calms you from so many um anxieties and issues and stresses that would sort of bombard you from day to day. Work home, and you go on those adventures and you realize, wow, there is so much more to live in than just the typical work home kind of setting.
And I guess too, because we can talk about mental health, how impactful
Yes.
doing those sort of things can be on your overall mental health, as you mentioned, relaxation, removal of anxiety, and so on. Sometimes, Carlton, there is fear to do those things, particularly if you don't have company. I,
Yes.
for one, I'm a person as a single woman. Sometimes people say, "Oh, but you can drive, you can just go so and so this place, that place, you can just go." And I'm like, me, for me to get lost, for me to next thing I get a what you call it, a flat tire, and I stick, and these kind of fears. But sometimes I think maybe just for your own well-being, you have to take the risk. There are certain things you may really want to do, and you may not have somebody who wants to do that same thing. But instead of stopping yourself from exploring what you want to explore, you need to take that risk. So I am trying to get into that zone of, even if other people don't want to do it and you want to do it, you can make that challenge to yourself. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, one of the other areas in Dominica that I've always liked, I'm not too sure if you must have driven there before, but if you take the Savon Pie route to get to Penville or Vickers, so if you're going up north, you pass Kempinski and you go into Savon Pie, there is this other road on the right hand side that takes you to Vickers. And when
Okay.
you get up there, it is really, really beautiful. You feel like you're in, like, you remember the I don't know if you're old enough to remember Little House on the Prairie.
Yes, I know that
And
show.
you're thinking of almost like when you get on that hill, you see, and it's almost like a Little House on the Prairie kind of picture vibes
Yeah.
that comes to your mind, and you're realizing, wow, this is really Dominica. And you're driving, and it's really beautiful. It's an area that I've always liked driving, particularly in the day. and you really see how wonderful and majestic the mountains are and the vegetation. So it's an area that maybe
Yeah, I
you could
can
take a
do.
drive. And
Mm-hmm.
your vehicle is 4 wheel?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's an area
Yes.
maybe just you and two of your girls and do that road that route, and you'll be very, very much just have your camera, and you've done it. You've never done it. Wow, that Seven Pie, that link road to take you to Vegas. So if you don't want to go through if you don't want to go to 1 mile for Portsmouth,
Oh, okay.
that you take that Seven Pie road and it takes you to Vegas and Penville. Beautiful.
I think I've done it, Carlton. I think so, but maybe I need to revisit.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
maybe need to revisit. I need to revisit.
Yes, it's really, really, and you see all of the farms, like all the Penville people farms and stuff. When you
Okay.
drive in there, you see all of the landscape of the farms and so forth. It's really, really. I just know that it's like usually in the evening, if you drive in there, there are a lot of mists, so it might be difficult for you to see properly. So it will be better to go in the day, like a time like now, where the sun is really out, to do that drive. But it is now 10:51. We're going to take a break. I see somebody wants to say something to us just before we take that break, and then we'll come back. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling. Happy
Morning,
Easter.
Carlton and Judy.
Yes, good
Morning.
morning.
How are you all now?
We're doing quite well.
Judy, and to congratulate you on that debate with the children. I
Thank
listened
you.
to the Sorrento, the young man, the
Yes.
Sorrento.
Mhm.
And Judy, let me tell you, I could listen to Mr. for the whole day.
I too.
Wow.
I too.
The way he spoke and it just had you going.
Yes.
Yes.
I would just want to congratulate you on that.
Thank
But
you.
Carlton and Judy, normally when we were young, right, as teenagers, I'm talking for the children that have on holidays. Remember, well, I'm from the country, but I live in town. We used to go and bathe, right?
Mhm.
Or if you're in town, most people that are in town,
You go
they come
country.
from the country.
Mhm.
So you would say, go and meet Granny for 2 days.
Mhm.
Go and spend 2 days with Auntie. So if you're in town, either go La Plaine, you go
True.
Wesley,
It's
you
true.
go Portsmouth, somewhere. And then you have an experience because they will take you to the garden,
Mhm.
Carlton and Judy.
For real.
You go to the garden, there you see fruits, you sit down. Remember, you cook your food there on
Mhm.
your stones, on your wood.
Yes.
All that is an experience for them. You see
You're
your ripe
correct.
bananas, you pick your ripe bananas, you eat that. Another thing we used to do, in those days, you had the young boys and the young girls. Those days, nothing in your head.
Yes.
You go, the boys would shoot those birds with their catapult.
It's true.
And we used to roast that, Carlton.
Of course, we've got a little
Roast
salt.
that
I did that too, so I know.
That,
I did that too.
And even with almonds, when you pick almonds after that, you roasting this thing of the almonds. So we used to have some good time. So whether you're not from the country area, I would suggest that the parents that are from the country area send the children out. One spend 2 days with uncle, that type of thing.
Excellent
So they would
suggestion.
get that kind of experience, river thing, go to the river and so on. It used to be nice. So that would help them
I
instead
like
of
that.
staying home on that cell
Device.
or
It's true.
thing. Bring them out, so that would help.
I love that.
Okay, all right.
That just gave me a nostalgia.
Yes.
Because my grandfather came from Botica, right? And they said that's where the Landos came from. And the other day I was saying to my wife that I need to just take a drive to Botica, maybe bring one of my aunts with me, one of my aunts, and just go and find the family, the people that are there, that are Landos, because I don't know them. I don't know them at all. So I just felt like one of these days just driving to Botica and just asking, I'm a Lando and I'm looking for the Landos that are in Botica, and go to their homes and know who they are. And it'll be, because I never knew my grandfather. So it'll be very interesting. Maybe I might even get some history about him and how he lived and stuff like that. And it just came to my mind recently about that. And so there's so many things that we can do. And as I was talking about, adding a bit more meaning to my own life, more than just the typical, house and land and vehicle and family, but extending it more and broadening the discussion. So having this caller made that amazing suggestion, because even for me, my mother is from Mahu, my father is from St. Joseph, and every holiday, my bags were packed to go and meet my grandmother in St. Joseph. You understand? And I remember my grandmother was a big Adventist all of us had to go to church on a Saturday and that type of thing. And we had to go to the Lai River with our aunts to do washing and stuff like that. And I remember that very, very well. So and really and truly, we don't see much of that. Maybe because of the quote unquote the molestation issues
Yes, I
and
was
things
going to
like
say
that.
people
A
also
lot of people
have,
have this.
concerns, and you have to
Mhm.
be careful with sending children, sometimes in situations that you're not fully,
Mhm.
you don't know who, frequents the place. And,
Yeah.
so sometimes you really have to factor that in as well. So that might be where the hesitation,
Mhm.
is coming
Mhm.
from.
Mhm.
It's not so easy anymore. Even I remember before, like when we would do French exchange, my mother through the Dominica Grammar School would always take me on French exchange over Easter,
Mhm.
and you would be placed in a family. So you go to Guadeloupe or you go to Martinique, and each student is placed in a family of another student. These days, you don't take people's children and bring them in another island to put them in somebody's family.
Yeah, I know.
These days, if you go in with a group of students, because I travel with students myself, you have to have accommodation.
Mhm.
You'd get a hotel or guess you get somewhere that is, you can control the
Yes.
environment, because you just don't want
Mhm.
the child to be exposed to any kind of,
Mhm.
so that is an aspect of life too that's
Mhm.
different.
That's different.
The awareness that we have to have,
Mhm.
that there are predators, and there are people looking to
Mhm.
harm children, and you need to be very careful with children.
Yeah, so that
So yeah,
is.
that. But if you know the environment, and it's a family member, and you can be sure that the child will be safe there, then you can send the child for the break, as the
Mhm.
caller said, to spend a day, spend 2 days. But you really have to be aware of the surroundings before. I know parents, are cautious with that.
That very, very, very true. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I can identify with that too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that is certainly a major variable in the discussion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I see we have a caller. Um, good morning to you. Good morning to you, caller. Happy Easter to you.
You, my darling,
Thank
Carlton
you.
and Tutti.
Morning.
Carlton just brought up something there, and I was about to. That was just crossed my mind when she's sending children there and sending children there, and that could be. That thing is true
Mm-hmm.
because I went to a business place one of those days, and a young child, she's about 11, 10, 11, and she's there with her mother, but her mother is in the workplace, and she was there. And she came in, she gave her mother something. Her mother gave her something. I can't remember exactly how it went. I tell the child, why didn't you say thank you, mommy? She just took it from her and she turned her back. I said, she said thank you, mommy. So I tried to,
Yes.
and she started smiling, if a kind of a smiley child. The girl, then the mother, after she went in the room, the mother told me that, right, that she don't want to put too much pressure on her because she, right now, in a situation, there's a family member
Mm-hmm.
who molested her,
Mm-hmm.
and she's in a court situation there. So sometimes people sending their children to your own family, and you don't know what can happen.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. So you have to be very, very, very careful. It's not like the time before people used to send their children by their grandmother and they would be there with their grandfather and their auntie and uncle maybe and take very good care of them and maybe teach them certain things they don't know. But now it's a different situation altogether. I don't know what devil that is inside the people that they have to do something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be very
And
careful.
that's well said too. That's well said.
And very, very good conversation.
Mm.
When I had my medical girl, when she was, I said, she's still my baby. She's in her 40s. She's my last and she's my baby.
Yes.
She loved reading. When she graduated, she went to a convent. She got a scholarship, maybe at the age of 10, 11. And she got a very high scholarship and went to convent. I would sit down when I don't know what I don't know. I would ask people that know to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Lufa was one of my children tutors. When school closed after Hurricane David, I would send my boys to Mr. Lufa, whom Mr. Lufa knows that, for for lessons.
Mm-hmm.
school closed, no school, and they would be by Mr. Lufa. But a lot of parents maybe wouldn't think of doing that. So sometimes we didn't know better. Some of us we didn't have it, and we tried our best.
True.
Like me, I tried my best. We tried our best. As a mother, I tried my best with my children.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. Where education was concerned, if I didn't know some like, good in maths or something, I would get somebody that good in maths.
Of course.
Like my son would go to Mr. Oliver Hodge. And well, you maybe wouldn't know him. He went away. He was a mathematician.
Mm-hmm.
So I would send my boys there to help for them. He could help them with their maths.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, when we don't know, sometimes we have to get people that know
True.
to help our children.
True.
And I didn't know a lot. Now I know a lot better. But I didn't know a lot, so I should get people that knew.
Yes.
Pay.
Thank you,
What I have to pay, I would pay. What I didn't, some people wouldn't charge me.
Yes.
I would send them to do it. Anyway,
Thank
very
you, caller.
good
Discussion.
discussion for the morning.
Yes.
And have a blessed
Thank you,
Easter.
caller. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
You
you.
know, and as the caller said that too, I remembered when I was doing chemistry,
Mhm.
I had difficulty with the mole concept. I
Mhm.
think many students, when they get to that part of chemistry, the mole concept, it's always a bit difficult to understand. And I remembered my mother sending me to Mr. Lance.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Lance was one of the people that he made me help me to understand that,
Chemistry.
and Erickson Bertrand.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yes, he too. So and
And
that's
interestingly, for the same chemistry, I had to get help too. I remember I went to Miss Sandy in Bath State
yes,
for help with my chemistry when I was in third form.
yes.
Chemistry was
Yeah, it's
chemistry
tough.
gives everybody blows, you know.
So you recognize, you recognize the importance of the community,
Mhm.
being the village, that
Mhm.
raises every child and helped to foster. And many of these people, even in my time, they never ask for no money. They actually enjoy doing it. And truly, I'm sure seeing a paradigm shift, because you will find a student now coming to you, let's say to assist them with an SBA project, and they practically want you to do the entire
Yes,
SBA for
yes,
them.
yes.
What time, when we were sent to these people, they gave you the concept, they gave you a few examples, and you had to demonstrate to them that you understood what they showed you, and you could practice it, and you had to do the work. Now you find students now literally want you to do everything for them. So you have a project, you're talking about sustainable development, and you ask, well, what is sustainable development as a definition? If you were to break down the word, you have sustainable, you have development, you have different aspects of development. In what context are you going to be looking at this this project? And these students look at you like blank, like what are you talking about? I just came to you and expect you to just take a paper and just write
feed
everything
me.
for me. No, it's not that. And for me, I will let you do the work. I'll provoke you to start thinking, and begin to do the and we know now, with the advent of
Is the technological
Right.
era, this
Right.
that is what has caused this sort of
I know
yeah.
it's not helping, because now students are just saying, just ask AI, and AI is just giving you an entire paragraph for
I
it.
tell students that all the time. I'm not that old. I'm in my 30s, and my experience at school is completely different than theirs. I used to have to do my research in the public library
Of course.
and get those books and page
Yeah.
through the books
Of
and
course.
get my information. Now they have, the ability to just type in a word and they get the entire thing,
I'm telling you.
done for them. So it's just the difference in time. It's the technological era, and people have become a lot more complacent, I would say, in terms of information access. So they think things should just be given quick. That working to get what you need is it it is becoming a lost cause. But we just have to keep pushing. I like to push my students and make them know that things are not always spoon fed to you at every level. But it's something you have to fight against. Honestly, in the educational sector, you really have to fight against the trend
Yes.
that is,
Copy paste.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, and as a teacher, you will know the quality of work that each student brings to you. So you're reading this, and it's very, very, very coherent sentence structure. And it's like, if I were to give you this very same project in the classroom, I'm not going to get that.
Of course.
So you know for a fact that this is not the work, this is not the actual work of that student or pupil. So we really want to encourage again parents to have your children practice writing, learn a new word each day if they have the time. And when you learn the word, begin to formulate that word in a sentence that you really pick up the concept of the word and understand in what context to use it. So these are things that are very, very relevant. They're still very relevant, and we want people to practice them. So what we're going to do, you recognize we've just been talking today.
Yes.
We were supposed to have a guest this morning. She said she's going to really try to come, but I recognize, because it's going to be a limited time, but I recognize people are liking the discussion that we're having.
Yeah.
The lines are going, and so we will just go with that flow and follow the leader. Let's take this call. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling. Happy Easter to you.
Mr. Lando,
Yes, sir.
that's teacher Luford.
Yes, I'm in your alley today.
Let me tell you, Mr. Lando, I want to make a point that parents who are listening to me, or children who are listening to me, that is very, very important. You know what you spoke about reading and analyzing.
Yes.
Since the introduction of the technology, okay, the computer, the laptop, children refuse to read, Mr. Lando. And they don't realize that reading plays an essential part in whatever exam you're going to do. Because when the teachers or the tutor, whoever it is, the examiner would say, send the question for you on your laptop, you have to be able to read the question.
I agree and understand
so I will enforce that point until they get it. Reading is vitally important. You can't throw it out the door.
True.
Because sorry, Mr. Lando, because they don't have the paper in their hand, they don't worry. And remember, the thing is, it is posted for a certain number of minutes. After they pull it out, it's gone. You haven't got the paper to refer to it again. So I am emphasizing, Mr. Lando, that parents, during the week and a half we have, encourage their children to read. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. And we recognize today we seem to be talking a lot on education and parenting and students and pupils.
I mean, and that's important too, cousin, because you see, this discussion, I mean, this is health vibes, but health is so all encompassing.
Very true.
I mean, how children are raised, their educational foundation, these things all lend themselves to holistic development and healthy lives. It's often said that when you talk about education, it is one of the social determinants of health, meaning, if people have a certain capacity to understand certain things, they can make, better choices.
I agree.
All across the board, including in health. So it's very interesting how, everything ties in nicely when we talk about, parenting and education and development of young minds, because all that is going to feed right back into, the overall health of the individual. Interestingly, it does.
And I really like that, because even with your program, the debates program, it forces students to begin to think analytically. And I remembered my days at sixth form, doing sociology, and Steinberg Henry being my lecturer at that time. I remember the very first day in the classroom, he made a stand and he asked the question, and you would maybe know Steinberg.
Of course.
Right. And Steinberg said, what makes a thing a thing? And everybody's, you're trying to think, what kind of question is that? Like, what, and he asked the question, what makes a thing a thing? And everybody's bursting their brain trying to think of, the smartest answer to give. And he said, because we call it a thing. You know, and it really invoked that type of critical thinking skills, and it's something that's really lacking now, and it's merely because we don't read enough. We don't read enough, and because we don't read enough, our scope and level of comprehension is not where it's supposed to be, because we cannot understand, and that's what comprehension is. What have you understood from what you've read? And so sometimes you tell a child, go in the room and read a book. But does the child understand what was read? You know, can they narrate to you step by step what was read and what they learned from it? And so this is where and that applies to us as well. I am a person, I love reading. I love, and I love reading out loud to my children. Like, just take a newspaper and just read out. Almost mimicking what it's like to read the news on television. And sometimes when you force yourself to read that way, you recognize, you know when to, how to play with the punctuations. You understand? I was listening to a news broadcast recently. I think it may have been on Jamaica News, and the journalist ended the sentence so abrupt. Before she went to the next segment of the news, and I was like, I was expecting more, but it's the way she ended the sentence. That segment, it was like almost you didn't recognize that she was ending that news broadcast. So it's important, and I really like the work that Trudy has been doing in that area. And I think it really means too that we need to have more dialogues. Maybe I know we have the, how you call them, Toastmasters, but I'm not too sure how active they've been. But having even communication clubs, within schools, whereby a teacher can just get maybe have a period during, even though it's once a week, where you just bring a topic, or you could ask a child to suggest a topic, and we just have a discussion about it. And you would be amazed to know the number of perspectives that comes out from that discussion. You may find religion popping up, you may find politics popping up, you may find law popping up. You understand? You could find so many facets in that one discussion. And I think we need to have, we need to really begin to have these types of discussions in our communities.
The good thing is some schools do have clubs. I know the Convent High School has a communications club right now. Grammar School has a debate club. ITSS has told me they have a club now. Children as young as in second form in there. So the different schools are, definitely doing a bit more and recognizing the importance of exactly what you said. And hopefully that will just carry through until all schools, can have that same sort of avenue for their students. But it's definitely a great idea. Carlton, I see we have someone trying to get us.
Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling.
Me again.
Yes.
So another thing I wanted to say, reading is very important. A while ago, I just spoke to my granddaughter. I told her, you're on holidays, but don't forget to read, whether it's a newspaper, any book at all, read. But another thing, you have two sides to that. Carlton, I should remember, like we're on holidays now, even though you'd rush to the library, you understand what I'm saying? So instead of you being at home, you go to the library, read a book, if it's 3 hours or many hours, stay there, parents give you to stay there. So where now, is it available now for the children? I'm just asking, you know what I mean? Like you're on holidays. Go to the library, you tell them, go to the library and do some reading. But where can they go to do the reading? And another side, there are some parents that can't afford to buy a book for their children, So that's not, But then if you have the library there, you cannot buy a book. They go to the library and they do a little reading. So that would also help them, tell them to read, yes, but they have to have access to some
to material.
Yes, the material to read, because not everybody that able to buy a book for their child, you understand. I may be able to buy, you can buy, but there are some people still buying the book. They have to look to buy food.
Yes.
You understand? So we'd like to see that library saying come back there. All now the children instead of at home on their gadget, go to the library and do some reading. Okay, have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yes, I see we had another caller a while ago. Again, you're always free to call. I recognize, we were supposed to be talking we were supposed to be talking trash today.
Yes, yes.
So we had
the Dominica
somebody,
Solid Waste
yes,
Management
yes.
Corporation.
But
Mhm.
but something came up, so we just had to spin the wheel around, and we recognized that most people seem to like that discussion today, and so we've just decided to stay on board with it.
Mhm.
So here it is that we do have calls. Yes, good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling. Happy Easter to you.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Carlton. Good morning, Judy.
Good morning.
And how are you all?
We're
We
doing quite
good.
well. Good morning.
I will finish it for Mrs. White. But where is the library? We don't have a library. And that's a shame.
Mhm.
Very, very shameful. We do not have a library. We don't have nothing. As I was saying the other day, the Arawak House of Culture is right there in the middle of the road. Anybody can see it. Not completed. I love you all. Happy
Thank you.
Easter.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Happy Easter to you, Miss May.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes,
I
it's-
know the library is in centralized row, so but I don't know how many young people know it.
No, yeah, you're right
It's-
next to where Jay's. Well,
Yes.
across.
Mhm.
Yes, next to what was the old Jay's bookstore. There is the Dominica Library Services have that's where they're located. But it's not a big space that people can go and sit in. And there's a documentation center near to the ministry where people can do research. But once again, that's not a big space as well. It's very targeted. If you want to pull up a document, you can go and get that there. But the space, the relaxing atmosphere to sit and read and to recreate in some way that has to do with literature, we don't have that capability anymore. At the State College, we recently reopened our library, which had been closed, essentially since the hurricane, and it is a big enough space. And I noticed that when we had to do a lot to get it reopened, because of course our infrastructure is still not fully recouped after the hurricane, but we made the effort to open that particular space, and the students are flocking to it.
Wow.
Yeah, the students are using it to sit and do their work and to sit and do their homework and use the textbooks that are there. So I really have seen that if this space is available, people will actually use it. So it's a good time to make that call, that renewed call, and people have been calling for a while for the public library, the Dominica Public Library, to actually be refurbished and become available again for use. These are some of the fundamental aspects of society that I believe we should not neglect. The library, the place for the arts, which is the Arawak House of
For real.
Culture. These spaces are very important to the overall development of our young people. Like when you look at the your past or your growing up, you will see that these places maybe had some sort of impact on
Of
you
course,
and what
definitely.
you could experience. And then when you think about what do the young people have equivalent opportunities for experiencing and growing as they should, and you say no, they're seriously lacking certain things, and it saddens me, to be honest. I don't have children. I often say if I did, I would maybe be sadder, but because you think of you want to maybe bring a young person to see a good play, or something in a nice atmosphere where they can really they can even go with friends and so on as an outing, or they can go to the library to do their research or to do their group work or whatever, and this just is not available for them.
Yeah, you
It's-
have
it's
it
not.
so correct. Because my little Zany is very, very, very much into art. Everything to do with drama and singing. And one day I asked Auntie Pearl, is there like a singing, like a place that I can send my daughter to help with her vocals and stuff like that? And she said to me, no. She cannot. She said that most times, like some of the schools have choirs, and she would say maybe to start there. But
There
like
used to be, what was it
I
called?
would have-
Kyrie School of Music in that little lane. There
but
used to be
I know they do like
voice
some
training
instrument,
and
but
so on.
I
There
would-
used to be.
I would love that,
Mhm.
But you again the same thing. You have children with
Certain talent and skill.
You've identified it, and
And you want to hone those
you-
talents, yeah.
Yes, and you do not. And I know that because I know she teaches music too. but I wanted like my daughter to really get full, like singing
Yeah.
classes or
I
something.
think it's challenge. I think now in this current age, parents have to be really creative
Mhm.
to have their children, exposed to the opportunities that are relevant for their growth. You have to be really creative. It's not impossible, but you have to be really creative.
So
And
it's
if you
almost
don't,
like you have to hook on YouTube
yeah,
and let them sing.
and if you don't have, like, because you could get maybe a private person to do it, but if you don't have the resources,
Mhm.
you kind of a stalemate there. Yeah, parents have to be really honestly creative. And there's something I saw come up recently about when you have opportunities to travel, take your children, because they need to be able to see and experience the world as well. Once again, this is such good advice, but it's, do you have the
That's
resources
it.
to do it? Not all parents have the resources, but it's really because we maybe lack certain experiences here for the young people. It's really a nice idea, if you do have the resources, to be able to take them on a little summer vacation somewhere else where they can maybe experience a few different, a different feel. Go to a museum, go to a a show, a play, or something. But the resources, that brings up the whole other conversation
A lot.
of the
Yeah.
resource
Yeah.
imbalance.
Mhm.
Yeah, some parents may be able to, but a lot will not be able to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because it comes back to that many of our children, that they're just censored on academia. Go to
Mm.
school, you spend 6 hours in school, then you go to an afternoon class, back to again helping with homework and projects, and then you get home, and then you have dinner, read a book, or watch some television or something, and
Mhm.
then that's
That's it.
it.
And even in terms of right, so even in terms of too, there was a topic I wanted to use in this debate competition. I did not use it. I couldn't figure out the best phrasing, but it was one that I had come up with because there was once this discussion on Facebook of people saying the young boys, for instance, when they leave school in the afternoon, the boys from SMA or from grammar school, whatever, they congregate on the block, Virgin Lane area. They congregate there, and maybe waiting for girls to pass and whatever. And it's a nuisance when the boys are just congregating in the space. And then a young person responded in the whole dialogue that was going on about that, in saying, but where else is there for us to go? Like, where,
And you
you
think
know
of it, it's true.
so I wanted to bring up this topic about what if the absence of our extracurricular activities that cater to young people is that hindering their ability to date or to interact with each other in a positive way. I just couldn't figure out how to phrase it properly, but it's a very interesting concept that we don't have certain avenues that young people could maybe just be young people,
True.
interact, explore things in a safe environment. The only thing we have really in terms of extracurricular activities now, they are the movies. And I notice, for instance, right now there's a movie, I think it's Ghostbusters right now at Emerald Movies, and a lot of young people are going to that. Okay, so they are the option to go to the movies. But apart from that, as we said, no Arawak House of Culture for a play or event or something, no library, no this, no that. So the only thing you have left now are the jams, which are supposed to be for adults,
Yeah.
So,
And then little sports, and some of them have a little sport, so football academies
yes, the
on
sports,
Saturdays
yes,
also.
and the sports, yes, I cannot, right, the sports too. But in terms of, like, as I was mentioning, that boy girl interaction, or to go to have a safe space in which the boys and the girls maybe from different schools would meet and talk and whatever. Where is there? So, and the adult events, the jams with the type of atmosphere that's not appropriate.
Yeah.
That's not appropriate. So, we are faced with a crisis. Where do our young people socialize? Even apart from the whole academic thing that we started off the discussion with, but where is there for the young people to just be
Themselves.
young people
Yeah.
in a safe space, in a space that's not, doesn't have alcohol or doesn't have, lewd music and that type of thing. They just have, a space. And there isn't much. There isn't much. Yeah.
And
So
if you look, and it's true, and if you look at most communities, there isn't much either.
Yeah. So we
you know.
blame them for, let's say, just pulling up on the block or pulling up on the streets after school or so on. But, we don't have any in a arcade or a bowling alley or something.
Nothing.
True. In developed countries, there's a lot of avenues, teenagers.
Skating,
Yes.
all kind of thing. I saw
Yeah.
in Barbados. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
bumper
They
cars,
have the one arrow, what do you call this? Yeah, I saw it in Barbados too.
Yeah.
Just
So you could have some different ideas, and as young people, you could group up and you do that. But yes, as I said, as a parent now, you have to be really creative now to create certain opportunities for your children. Really creative, and my hats off to all the parents in Dominica who are doing it. There are parents who are doing it and raising well-rounded children. But I can tell you, it must be a challenge.
It is a challenge.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
It is certainly a challenge for real. And the other day I was speaking to a friend of mine, and I was saying, I followed this lady. I think she's from Antigua, but she lives in the United States, and she has this etiquette academy in the US, and she's always on Facebook, and it's amazing how you see many children, most of them from black children, and she's teaching them social etiquette, how to use your knife, fork, how to sit, how to open the door. If you're a lady and you're getting into a vehicle, how do you get into the vehicle? How do you get out of the vehicle? And I let my daughter look at the videos all the time. All the time. I go through the videos and I call her and I say, look at this. And I let her, because I know Ruth. I know Augustine started something like that. I'm not too sure how I know, and I know Marcella LaRock used to have
something
a
over
program
the summer.
during the summer when she was here, teaching children these things. But these are so important because you leave as a young person, because I grew up in the era where you got your plate of food and you just go on the mango tree and eat. There was no setting of table and all that kind of thing like that. And so many of us, we learned on our own late, and maybe still don't even do it the proper way.
Yeah.
And so you go to a formal setting as an educated person and you're feeling, boy,
a little lost. You gêné.
Yeah. You go to England or you go to, and so these things are very, very relevant. And so if our children learn the precepts of these, you understand?
Carlton, our lines are going. Let's take a few calls.
Good morning to you.
Carlton, actually, that's my last call. Passionate about that subject. Remember, Trudy, especially, I went to the convent and I shot Trudy. I don't know if you went
the
to
convent too, yes.
And Trudy, we used to have this young Christian student thing. You can remember that, but then after you leave
YCM.
school, you used to have YCW. There you learn to dance. So remember those days you learn to dance. You learn to do the same thing, how to eat properly, how to sit at table and all that.
Wow.
And even all now, the convent would be having camps, we used to have camps. All holidays we have, because you have to look at the spiritual part.
Yes.
Because we used to have camps, so we have to go to camp where you have that spiritual
retreat.
Part. Yes, we used to call it camp. It's retreat. And then you used to have good times there. I can remember a time, I'm just giving you a joke, once I went to a camp. In those days, you used to have those nuns and so around you, And then, as scaffolds, they tell you, if you have to take communion, you haven't got to eat a certain time. You know that, Trudy? No, we went, Jennifer, I told you, they went for a little walk with our, what we eat. It was up Giodel area. When come, they had, where you have mass all the time, you must have mass. When come to take communion, none of us could take the communion because we ate go, we ate go, and then we all there, we just cannot take it, and the nun put, understand? And even the days for the dancing for the young people. Remember, we still have school dances, in St. Gerard's Hall. The nuns again were there again, we enjoyed ourselves, 6 to 9, then we go. One thing, you cannot dance too close because the nun used to come in front of you and push you back. So we had all those things. So those things are no longer there. So that also is a little problem. You understand? That's my last call. I won't call again.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy Easter to you.
Yes. We have another caller.
Good morning to you. Good morning, caller. Happy Easter to you.
Again. It's totally a total different different thing right about now. Unlike Easter coming, you would have fairs. St. Martin's School, SMA would have a fair. Pottersville Ground would have a fair. We haven't got those things again. All our sporting grounds, some of them are compromised, especially around Roseau. Young men have nowhere to really go and congregate. Windsor Park would be, oh my God, after the afternoon, morning time, but doesn't matter what time you pass in Windsor Park, they always have a crew.
Yes.
Kicking a ball, jumping a basketball. You would find that. Where are they going? They have got nowhere to go. At the back of the grammar school, which we call the technical wing. The same they had there to go to. They haven't got that again. So do that Girl Guides again and Brownies. Still
Yes,
Yes,
they still
yes,
do. They
yes.
still do.
Yeah, Miss White, why she don't really to us in St. Martin's School? We had it. We had the same thing. It's not school, so we had the same thing. But from small to vocational, we had the same thing. We know how to move around, but now it's so no. So when we can't really blame the young men for sitting on the side, where they going?
Yes.
Mhm.
They got nowhere to go. They got a Windsor Park to go. If they go to gardens, people tell them, oh, all you can't run on the lawn. All you can't do this on the lawn. They haven't even got a proper cricket ground in the garden. Because you take for instance, children are going to the grammar school. They haven't even got a place to go to play their sports. The only place they can go is at the bottom of the botanical garden. They're close to the cricket pitch there. That is their sporting ground. And for years, that happening. And nothing has been done about it. So when them children come out there, they feel that's it for them, Thank God nowhere else to go then. Thank God for the phone. Thank God for the phone you can play the games on. Thank God for the tablet they have. Thank God for all those things. Otherwise, we would have more mad and crazy people in that country. Bye-bye.
Thank you, caller.
We have
Thank
another
you.
caller.
Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling.
Okay, Carlton,
Yes, good morning.
when you had your food, don't forget the mango tree wasn't so far from your home,
It's true.
So you had a choice. I know where you live, by Jim in there.
Of course.
All right, Papa.
Take care. Have a good morning. But it's just amazing that all of these the contents of the conversation was so well rounded this morning that it brought us to many facets of our lives. It's almost a compare and contrast analysis, where we were. For me, being born in the early 70s, at least I've always been grateful that I've had the opportunity to experience many of those things that people older than I experienced. But since we got to the 90s, we saw a shift, and sad to say that many of our young people, their mood of socialization is very different from what we would have experienced. It is us as parents to help them to revisit some of those things. Yes, you may not be able to make a truck, but there might be somebody in the community that can still make a truck, that you can make a truck and give your 3-year-old son to drive around the yard. You may not be able to make a catapult, but you can maybe let somebody that know and bring the child somewhere, that's not, and try to kill a bird or catch a bird or something. They used to have a thing called collage, where they made this it's almost like a little house on land, but it's stood up, and you put coconut under it, and then the bird would come and it falls on the bird and covers the bird, and you catch the bird that way. And again, as the caller said, you kill that bird and you made a little mess. We ate Tululu, the little crab, and so we did a lot of those things. And the time have changed, but at the same time too, we can revisit. We can still take our children to the river. We can still take our children to the sea. We
To
can
the beach,
still,
yeah.
we can still do some of those things, while the time permits us. So yes, it's true that we have some restrictions, and there are some of those activities that may not be as prevalent or popular like in our times past, but we can still revisit them. It is now just about 11:30. We have this caller. Let's take this caller. That's
Last
the last
call.
caller
Last
for
call.
today.
Yes, last caller.
Yes,
The
Miss Smith.
talos, I know about the talos.
Yes.
We used to go for wood. Some girls used to go for wood. Some young women for after school on Saturday. We don't want to stay home to do nothing. We rather go for wood. When we reach in the wood, the boys ready hang their collage.
Yes.
And they're waiting for their bird for them to pass back tomorrow.
Yes.
When you watch under the college, you see the little dove or pigeon
Yes, the ground
under
dog.
it. We go in with taking the bird, put a gift there for them, and then set it back for them. And we go in with the bird. When they see when they stay at the distance and they see something on there, they believe it's bird. But when they go, they see in their gift. I don't want to say what gift over the ear.
Oh Lord. That is bad.
When they come down, they want to fight people. Take care.
Yes, ma'am. We have another caller quickly. Good morning, caller. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I'm the last caller.
Yeah.
Yes. Talking about the different things we used to do. One thing I actually missed last week is with all that wind, missing
The kites
flying.
Yes, the
My
kites.
brother, that's one of the things that I also missed. As a matter of fact, when my son was going to SMP, we brought it back. I was on the PT. We brought it back. Kite Flying Festival
Yes.
and Kabui Festival.
Yes.
Kabui making. And even that is all gone down the drain. I mean, it's so sad.
Yes.
Because that the kite flying and the Kabui was to kind of have fathers bonding with their sons. Because at meetings, you used to see more women. So we kind of put a strategy together to have to see more fathers. And really and truly, that made a big difference. Even though you were not a father and you were a male figure in the child's life, you had to show up on the behalf of that child as parents or guardians or whatever it was. But it made a great impact. And even that is lost. It's so sad.
Yes.
So you have a good one out there. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Well, Trudy,
Yes,
we're out of time
that's
now.
it.
Yes, we really had a good time here today with you, just looking at times. You know, looking at times, looking at the things that we grew up with, looking at the things that are still current, still available. And we're hoping that we will be able to see some improvements in particularly some of those institutions that are lacking and some of the activities. Well, we really want to wish you a happy Easter weekend. Be safe. Remember, if you're going out on Monday, drinking and driving, they don't mix, right? Remember that you want to be safe. If you're going into the sea, yes, you might be a very strong swimmer, but it's good to have somebody with you. You never know what could happen. We really do not want when Tuesday comes that we get in some bad news throughout the island.
And Carlton, just a quick reminder of the Easter egg hunt, Saturday the 30th
Yes.
at JP Mega.
And Portsmouth.
And Portsmouth, yes.
Starting at
Okay.
11 o'clock.
Okay.
So the first, we're looking at least eight children. You have to be between the ages of 8 and 10. And once you get there early, you're registered and you're eligible to win a $75 gift certificate. And so that's 2 gift certificates that's going to be given, one for a child in Fokole, shopping at the Mega
JP
store,
Mega.
right? And the other person
Portsmouth.
at the Portsmouth store. So from all of us here, we're saying have a happy Easter, be safe, and continue to take care of yourself. Bye-bye, everybody. Until next week, Wednesday, we'll be with you, if God spares, for yet another episode of Health Vibes. Bye-bye. And as always, your health is indeed your greatest resource. Preserve it. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Good job.
Johnny
Good job.
Brand new.
And if the convenience could make a big difference. Who say health cannot have vibes? Well, Jolly's Pharmacy is proving you otherwise. With Health Vibes, every Wednesday morning on Q95 from 10 a.m. to 11:30. Health Vibes, education, information, and a bit of humor. And not forgetting lots of vibes. Hosted by Carlton Lango, with co-hosts Jacinta Fagan Defoe and Trudy Kristen. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together every Wednesday, so be sure to tune in. Health Vibes every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 a.m. to 11:30. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Introducing Jolly's Pharmacy, brand new website, www.jollies.gm. It's your time to jump the line. Shop now at jollies.gm and have your items delivered in the comfort of your office. No more standing in line. No need to use your lunch hour to shop. Hassle-free shopping, safe and secure. Jollies.gm features rush delivery, 1 hour. In-store pickup, regular delivery, 5 p.m. Cut-off time, 4 p.m. It's your time to jump the line. Visit us at www.jollies.gm. Jollies Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Oh, and if they say convenience could make a big difference, then you can trust me. I know just where you should be. And that is JP Mega. Your one-stop shopping, Dominica, nigga.